Welcome to microeconomics class. In this class, I'll be solving this question on market structure. The question goes thus. A firm's total cost function is given as TC equals 3000 plus 20Q. The demand for its product is P1 equal 180 minus P1 in market 1 and P2 equals 100 minus 2Q2. Assuming the firm is able to discriminate, then calculate the 1. Profit maximizing output level in both markets, 2. Price charge in both markets, 3. Firm's total profits. So whenever we see a question like this, how are we going to approach it? So it's very simple. Now let's start. Solution. We were told that there are two markets in which this seller sells a product, and these markets are denoted by market 1 and market 2. And there are different demand functions in this market. For market 1, this is the demand function, that is P1 equals 180 minus Q1. Then for market 2 is P2 equals 100 minus 2Q2. Okay. If you look at these two demand functions, they are inverse demand function. What do you mean by inverse demand function? So in an inverse demand function, P, that is price, is made the subject of the formula. But if it is Q that is made the subject of the formula, we call it a direct demand function. Look at this demand function. Say P1 equals 180 minus Q1. So if our demand function has been given as Q1 equals 180 minus P1, this is the same thing as this. The only difference is that we make Q the subject formula here, while P is subject formula here. So this first one is an inverse demand function, and this one is a direct demand function. So whenever we are dealing with question like this, so we ensure that our demand function is converted to an inverse demand function if it is a direct demand function that is given. Okay, now let's start. We are told that for market 1, we have this demand function, and for market 2, we have the demand function. And we are also told that the firm discriminates between this market, that it sells this product at different prices. Okay, that's in market 1 they sell at a particular price, and in market 2 sell the same product, the same unit at a particular price. That is what we mean by price discrimination. Okay, and we are asked to find profit maximizing output level in both markets. So whenever I see a question like this, so the first thing is to recall a profit maximization rule. Maximization rule. The profit maximization rule states that a firm maximizes profit when MC, that is marginal cost, equals to marginal revenue. This is what is called profit maximization rule. Okay. Now, in any market, this applies to any market, be it perfect market or an imperfect market. Okay. Now, because the firm discriminates, okay, so this profit maximization is going to be specific. Therefore, for market 1, the profit maximization condition will be where MC is equal to MR1. Okay, MC equals MR1. Okay, why is this not MC1? Because we are only given a common total cost function. This one total cost function. Okay, now for market 2, so it's going to be MC equals MR2. Okay, so this is the same thing as this. But the only difference between this one is general profit maximization rule, but this one is specific to markets. So Having understood this, so we can move further to find our marginal cost. So we can simply derive our marginal cost from total cost function here. But there is a problem. So how are we going to derive our marginal revenue when we don't have total revenue? So this problem can be solved by first finding total revenue from each of the markets, and then we can derive our marginal revenue from each of the markets. Okay. For instance, for market 1, you can say total revenue. Let me just use TR1. TR1, that is total revenue from the first market, from market 1. The formula will be the price multiplied by the quantity from that market. Price multiplied by the quantity from that market. So the price from that market is this function. So we have 180 minus Q1, then multiplied by the Q here, Q1. Then this can be simplified further. We open the bracket, we have 180 Q1, then minus Q1 squared. Okay, also, we can also find the total revenue from market 2. That would be P2 multiplied by Q2. Then this will be equals to the demand function, that is P, we have 100 minus 2Q2, then multiplied by Q2. We multiply by Q2, so we are going to have 100 Q2 minus Q2 multiplied by this by minus 2Q2, so we have minus 2Q2 squared. Now, since we have been able to derive our total revenue for each of the markets, and we are also given total cost, so we'll be working with this. Okay. The next thing we are going to do is to derive marginal revenue from both market and also derive marginal cost. So let me clean here because of space. So let me clean here. Okay. So now, when you recall that the total cost, have to recall that the TC equals 3000 plus 20Q. Okay. Then this same TC can be written as, because it can be written as TC equals 300 plus 20, then we have Q1 plus Q2. Okay, we can write it this way because this Q represents total, this Q represents, the Q here represents total output for both markets. But we can split it into 1 plus Q2, so it still remain the same. Okay, if you like. So we can do that if you like, but we don't necessarily need to do that because we are given a linear function here. We are given a linear function, we don't necessarily need to do that. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to recall, you recall that you have TC, which is equal to 3000 plus 20Q. So this is the linear function. Okay. So then we can derive our MC from this. To derive MC, don't forget MC is the first derivative of total cost function. So it's going to be the TC over the Q. So then we have, when we differentiate with respect to Q, so this is constant, we ignore, so we have 20. So also we have TR1. Our TR1 is simply 180 minus Q, 180 Q1 minus Q1 squared. So we can simply derive our marginal revenue from here. Our marginal revenue also will be, marginal revenue from market 1 will be the TR1, the Q1, which is equals to 180 minus 2Q. 2Q1. Okay, if we differentiate this one, we are going to have 180 minus 2Q1. So also, TR2, that total revenue from market 2 is 100. Look at here, Q2 minus 2Q2 squared. So we can also derive marginal revenue from market 2. That would be MR2 will be the TR2 over the Q2. That will be, when I differentiate this one, we have 100, then minus 4Q2. Okay, then we are good to go. You recall the profit maximization rule. Okay, so where MC equals to MR for market 1, MC equals to MR1 for market 2, MC equals to MR2 for market 2. Now, let's continue and I say for market 1. For market 1, so you know that MC equals MR1. So for market 1, you know that MC equals MR1. So our MC in market 1 is equals, our MC is equal for market 1. MC, the rule says MC equal to M1. So you recall that our MC we derive from our total cost is 20. Then 20 equals MR1. What's our MR1? Our MR1 is 180 minus 2Q1. Okay, then this can be simplified further. So when we collect the like time, so we have 2Q1 equals 180 minus 20. Then we have 2Q1 equals 160 equals 160. So this we are going to divide both sides by 2. Then we have 2Q1 over 2 equals 160 over 2. So Q1 is going to be equals to, this cancel this, here we have 8. Q1 is going to be 80. Meaning that the total output sold in market 1 is 80 units. Is 80 units. Also, we need to find the total output sold in market 2 now. So by applying the same rule, that is profit maximization rule. So also for market 2, for market 2, we are going to have MC equals MR2. MC equals MR2. Then, what's our MC? Our MC, don't forget, is 20. Then equals MR2. What's our MR2? MR2 is 100 minus 4Q2. 4Q2. Then we collect the like times, we have 4Q2 equals, this goes to this side, the right hand side, we have 100 minus 20. Then we have 4Q2 equals 80. Then we divide both sides by 4. So we are going to have Q2 equals 80 over 4. Then Q2 will be equals to 20. So in other words, the total output sold in market 2 is 20 units. So that answers the first part of the question, where we have to calculate profit maximizing output level in both markets. Okay, so in other words, we have Q1 is equals to 80 units. Okay, while we have Q2 equals to 20 units. So if the firm is able to discriminate, so it's going to sell 8 units in market 1 and 20 units in market 2. So let's also solve the second question, the second part of the question, where we are asked to determine the price charged in each of these markets. So that one is very simple. For the price, is, so for market 1, market 1. So you recall that we are given that P1 equals 180 minus Q1 square, minus Q1, sorry, 180 minus Q1, okay? So what we need is just to plug in the value we got for Q1 into this function. So in other words, this is going to be equal just to 180, that is 180 minus Q1. What is our Q1? It's 80. Okay, then our P1 is going to be equal to 180 minus 80. So we are going to have 100. Okay, meaning that the price charge in market 1 is equal to 100. Okay, now also for market 2, for market 2, so we have P2 equals 100 minus 2Q2. Okay, so what we need is just like we did here. So we are going to plug in the value we got for Q2, which is 20. So in other words, P2 here is going to be equals to 100 minus 2 multiplied by Q2, which is 20. Then we have P2 will be equals to 100 minus 40, which is equals to 80. So which is equals to 60. So meaning that the price charge in the second market is 60. So this is the second question. So and the last question we are asked to solve is to find the total profit. You have to find the total profit, meaning that the profit in market 1 and market 2, we are going to add them together. So now let's see how we are going to approach this. Let's see how we are going to approach this. So the profit, you recall that profit is usually denoted with phi in economics, phi equal to total revenue minus total cost. So mind you here, in this, this firm discriminates between two markets, meaning that total revenue of this firm, that is the TR of this firm, will be equal to TR1 plus TR2. That is the revenue derived from market 1 and the revenue derived from market 2. So we are going to use that information. So in other words, we have our profit can be written as TR1 plus TR2 minus TC now. Okay. So you remember the total revenue function we got initially. So you recall you have TR1 as TR1 is equal to what? TR1 is equal to 180 Q1 minus Q1 squared, and also TR2 is equal to 100 Q2 minus 2 Q2 squared. You recall that. So we are going to put that in this formula. Also record our TC equal to 3000 plus 20 Q. Okay. Then we go back to this profit function. Then we have profit equals to TR1. That is 180 Q1 minus Q1 squared. Then we have plus. So let me write that. 180 Q1 minus Q1 squared. Then we have plus, this is TR1, then plus 100 Q2 minus 2 Q2 squared. This is our total revenue. Then we have minus TC. What's our TC? So ensure you use bracket to separate that. Okay, then we have 3000 plus 20 Q. 20Q. Okay, 20Q. So don't forget, this can be written as pi equals 180 Q1 minus Q squared 1 plus 180, plus 100 Q2 minus 2 Q2. Then we have, see, this minus you have to multiply this you have to multiply everything you have in this bracket by this minus. So we are going to have minus 3,000. Then we have minus 20. Okay, minus 20 Q. So don't forget this Q is the total output. Is the total output. That is the addition of output in market 1 and market 2. So this can be simplified further to be 180 Q1 minus Q1 squared plus 100 Q2 minus 2Q2 squared. Then we have minus 300 and minus 3,000 minus we have 20. So this Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Hope you understand this. So is the addition of Q1 and Q2 this. Okay, so you can simplify further to be this equals 180 Q1 minus Q squared, Q1 squared plus 100 Q2 minus 2 Q2 squared. Then we have minus 3,000. Then you open this bracket, you have minus 20 Q1 and minus 20 Q2. That is what we have. So you can then collect the like times. You can see this one, you have this. Okay, Q1, this one has Q1, this one has Q1. Okay, so you can match them. So here we are going to have 180 Q1, then you have minus 20 Q1. That's 180 Q1 minus 20 Q1. Okay, then we also have this, so we have minus Q1 squared, then we have plus 100 Q2. So we also have this 20 Q2. So we can bring it here. We have 20 Q2. We have 20 Q2. Then we have minus 2Q2 here. 2Q2 squared. Okay. Then we have minus 300. Okay. So let's count the number of times so that we know the number of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's complete. So here, this one is equal to 160 Q1. Then we have minus Q1 squared plus, then we have plus. Before you add, so we have 100 Q2 minus 20 Q. So we are going to have plus 80 Q2 minus 2Q2 squared, then minus 3,000. Okay, this is the profit function. This is the simplified profit function. So the next thing is to plug in the value we got for Q1 and Q2 into this in this function. So what value do we get for Q1? We got 80, and for Q2 we got 20. So in other words, we are going to have the profit. The product fund will be equal to 160. For Q1 we got 80. Okay, you say minus Q1, so we have 80 squared. Okay, then we have plus 80. Then Q2 we got 20. Then we have minus 2. Okay, we have minus 2. Then we have Q2 is 20 squared. Then we have minus 300. So here I'm going to hand it here. So whatever value you get will be your profit. So you can drop your answer in the comment section. Whatever value you get for the profit, let me know. If you have any challenge in finding it, let me know too. Thank you. See you in the next video.